Thank you very much for talking to me today. I'm very excited to catch up with you. I know you've just come back from Indonesia where you've been visiting with Mr. Sino, so we want to hear all about it as well as your appointment. So just give us a little bit of a fill-in as to your journey.
Yes, it was really a very, very deep experience in all levels, in spiritual levels, but also in the personal level, to meet with the people and to meet with Mr. Sino and to get much deeper awareness of all the project, God, Sky, Earth, and especially also with the payment 111. And you have to know, it was my inner voice calling me that I should go, but it was before Christmas, and then I did think, oh, how can I do it? And Freddy Alfers, who was also meeting with the Sino on Facebook, did push me, and he did say, Karin, go, Mr. Sino is waiting. And then I decided to book the flight.
Okay.
And Ulrike, she's in my Austria team, and she did come with me, and this also was very much led by spiritual energy. And you know, the flight did take us 25 hours. We had a long break in Dubai. There was no other, this was from the price, the best opportunity we could get, yes. So we came then a little bit tired, and at about 11 o'clock in the night to Jakarta airport, and then we really were so deeply touched. 10 people were waiting for us, yeah, and saying hello to us. So this was really very, very much touching. And then we went for one night into a hotel. There I did meet with Daryl, because Daryl just did come back from Mr. Sino, going to back to the USA. This was also very good meeting and very good talking to him. Good chance. I first time saw him in real. And then in the next morning we started with 2 cars and all the delegation, about, I don't know, maybe 12 person or something like that, with 2 cars. And first we had a look and did see Jakarta Cirebon is about 300 kilometers. But we then recognized this will be a very long journey, because you're really there in another world, yeah. The streets are, you cannot compare it with the status we have, yeah. So many cars, so many bicycles, and the people go very, very concentrated driving, but it's all there. They go just as it is possible, yeah. Yeah. And they have their children on their bicycles and on the cars, and they are driving one to the other with about 2 centimeters, yeah. So, well, we were very happy to have a chauffeur. I never could have done it by myself. And it is also to drive on the left-hand side, so we are not used to that, yeah. So, just by that, there were so many impressions, and of course we had very good sharing in the car with the people. In our car was Hanando Sabtohan on Facebook, his name, and then a very, very spiritual made Kanata, I do not know how to pronounce it, and we were then, he was playing music, chanting, so it was really very spiritual and emotional to go there.
Okay. And when did you actually arrive at Mr. Sino's then?
Yes, and then first Ulrike and I thought maybe we go to a hotel and Mr. Sino will invite us about 2 or 3 days later to see us, or something like that was in our mind. But the people did say, No, 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 no. We go immediately, of course. Everybody's waiting there for your arrival, and everybody is very excited that you come, and also Mr. Sino. So we were just as we were. You see, we had no chance to make ourselves a little bit more fresh or something like that. And just like that, we arrived then in the house of Mr. Sino in the late afternoon. And many people were there waiting for us. It was very, very touching. And I did not think about how we will say hello. I did know I will do it with the namaste, very much to honor him. And I did already know that most of the Asian people give him the honor by a hand kiss, yeah, like it is done to the king. But I did feel that this would not be coming directly out from my heart. This is unusual here. You know, Mel Ve, in Austria, it is the man that kisses the hand of a woman. And to do it the other way around is not for us. Cannot do that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you hugged Mr. Sino, and what was that like?
This joy and this welcome feeling and to meet each other. And so I just did step up with my namaste to him. Well, we did give us a hooch. And Mr. Sino did like it very much. And everybody was very astonished.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
So that it was the meeting of different cultures. And it was also something what the people then we were talking. And you know, in the septagram.
Yes. Hello?
The female and the male energies. And this was just in the very first moment happening, to bring it on the same level, yeah?
Yes.
We are same, all of us are in our deepest soul, we are goddess, we are God, we are children, daughters and sons of God. We are in our highest vibration if we go the way of spirituality, a royal family, every one of us. Mr. Sino did say that very often, that the king and the queen in us is waiting to show up, yeah. And so this was really from the first moment very much touching. And I did feel something. I was very, just in this first moment to meet Mr. Sino, I did know that I was his grandma in the last incarnation, and he then already did say it in the first evening. This was very, you can understand, it was very, very emotional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about the past life connections that Mr. Sino has to the delegation? Did he speak to you a bit about that at all?
Oh yes, he did speak a lot about that. He did speak, the Indonesian people are very much connected to the history and also to the journey through the lives we make, yeah, and the experience we make and the relations we build up. And we take, as he does say it, maybe we begin something in a life and cannot finish it, and then we are responsible for it in another life. Yeah? And so this project, to be the trustees for the money of the world and to bring this payment 111 to the people, I think everybody in the delegation is connected to it. Maybe some not that much, because they have other missions to do in, for example, changing the law and prepare a new political system, get the free energies or agriculture or all of that into the right way, yes. But some are really very much connected with this, and I think these are those who are in personal, deep relation to Mr. Sino.
Yeah.
Maybe we did promise each other some lifetimes ago to be there when the moment is given from God to do that job, to do that mission. I see it like that.
I can't believe you just said that. That's exactly what I said to Mr. Aprianto on the New Year wish, is that, I've got some past life recall. I can remember, and I've been remembering some of the people on the delegation from my past lives, and in my meditation it came to me. It came to me that we had all made a promise. I started to have some vision some time ago as I got into this project that we had actually made this promise to each other some time ago. Yes. A few lifetimes, I don't know how many lifetimes back, but I know this inside myself. And it's funny now with all of these people, you and Arnie and people going to Indonesia, they're coming back with this information that I've been knowing since I've joined this delegation. It's been coming to me that this is a mission, this is something that we have to stick out, this is a promise we've made to each other, and that it's important that we fulfill this promise, and it's not an accident that some of us have come together at this time.
Yeah, that's completely, I agree completely. You're completely right. I feel same as you. And I think everybody did hear that call in their own heart and in their own soul, and we did remember we have to do that. And I remember very much when I came on TeamSpeak into the group, I really had the feeling many of the people I do know from soul to soul. Yeah? And I think this is very, very important. That we are very good connected to each other and that we give support to each other. And what also I did see so much in Indonesia is that we should think that all we do, all we say, all we show up now in the world is to represent Mr. Sino. Yeah. So when we do foolish or make mistakes, we blame him. Yeah, and this he did say, he is a spiritual master, and it is given him from God to do that mission, but he cannot do it alone. We have to do it to represent him and to take our responsibility and to show up in the highest level we are able to do. Yeah. But of course, because there is so much, we have to represent Mr. Sino, as I see it now, we have to go through polarity and duality into unity. Yeah?
Yes.
There has karma to be healed. So we are also, by all what happened and by all that emotions that come up in us and all the problems that have been in the delegation, I was talking to Mr. Sino about that, and he did say it's just normal. So he is not angry with this. He just say you have to go through that energies, and you have to become completely clear in yourself and have to become completely aware of what you are representing. Yeah, let's say Mr. Sino does represent the will of God, and we represent Mr. Sino, so we also represent the highest will of God. Yeah, and we are leaded all by angels and masters from the spiritual level, and what we call Ashta Command, for example, also beings from other planets or other galactic areas. And it was very much astonishing that in the time that we were there, in UFO did show up in Jakarta. I do not know if you have seen the video Aprianto did post it on Facebook. I have seen some of UFO videos, but never one like that. So clear. And everybody was very much upset. They did say, okay, because now the delegations international are coming together, and Mr. Sino did say it's all protected, of course, by God, by angels, and also by UFOs. Yeah, they are there to protect him and us, and this all was very, I cannot express it. It is so much touching, yeah. So
Wow.
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Karin, that's amazing. So, what is exactly you going to be doing for Mr. Sino?
Well, let me go on a little bit before I come up to that, telling you
Okay.
how the process was, because I think this is a little bit important.
Okay.
It was really, Mr. Sino did in the evening, but the people are going all in and out, and Mr. Sino sometimes all night long is sitting with the people and teaching them and talking to them. So I think they really, as a couple, as just normal people, are giving all to the project. And I think we also have to honor that very, very much. So in this patio where there is the meeting, you did see it in the video. This is the place with the flag and with this nice little garden behind it, and so where everybody does meet. It's just open. The Indonesian people are allowed just to come to sit there and wait for Mr. Sino. So this they have much more easy as we, because they are all the time so good connected to him. And in this very first evening, it was something like a ritual coming up between us in this very special first hour or something like that, where we have been there. And I had the feeling I would like to, because some of the people are so much the Indonesian unterwürfig. Do you understand? I do not know the English word. They are too shy to speak, They honor Mr. Sino so much, and Mr. Sino did like very much that I did give huge to everybody, and that I did give my awareness to all of them, and he did say to me that he does like that very much. And then I did say, I would so much like to make a hand circle that we just reach our hand. And immediately he did get up, and we was inviting everybody in a big circle to hold each other in the hand and just to go in a little silent meditation. And in that moment, the chauffeur of Mr. Sino did come home, and he always does take the wife of Mr. Sino from the hospital to bring her at her home. And it was an impulse, Mel Ve. Well, you cannot think in a moment like that, but my heart was so open, and Mr. Sino did say to his wife, he wants to that we get to know each other, and she did step up and reached her hand to me. And I did invite her to come into the circle. And this was first time. Everybody was that much touched. I did not know that. For me, it was just normal.
Oh, wow.
But I think it was such a great moment. So very great moment. And then Mr. Sino did say, yes, Karin was in the life before Queen Wilhelmina, and Ulrike was the daughter of her. And she did give the money to Sukarno. And now she has to fulfill what she has started. And she was in that lifetime the grandmother of him. Yeah. So it was such an amazing moment. Now everybody of the delegation in Indonesia say grandma to me.
Wow.
It's really,
that's
really
beautiful.
Very, very
Sure. Oh, that's so. I'm in tears here listening to this, Karin.
Yes, I know. And I really wanted to tell it. I first was thinking maybe I invite to a Zoom meeting with everybody, but I think this is not the right moment now for me, because I have so much to do and so much to prepare. So I think just this little video, this little talking to you,
Yes.
If you offer the recording to the delegates, would be fine and would be nice.
Of course, and I'm very excited to publish this, but of course everybody wants to know exactly what are you going to be doing? I mean, did Mr. Sino discuss your job role with you?
Yes. And it was Mr. Sino and I have been already since September very deeply been connected. He got he became aware of my work with the septagram. And Mr. Sino is an architect, yeah, he's spiritual master and he's architect. And he has that much knowledge in cosmology and in holy geometry. And I do have also very much knowledge. So he's really very glad, and me too, that we can understand. We just share some symbols and everything is clear. He likes it very much, and me too. And also, two of my partners have been architects. Yeah, so there's just a connection of understanding very good. And when this came with the work in the septagram, he did write me some emails that really did touch me very, very, very deeply. And then I was telling him what I think about the financial flow, and we were working together. You have to know, I'm really very deeply working together with Mr. Sino, and maybe it is hard to tell that because I do not want to there's really no ego or something in that, but I know that this is given to me long time ago, and I'm led by Archangel Hanael. And Mr. Sino did also then tell me and all the other delegates there in Ulrike, he did say also for him, when years ago, I do not know when the call to him did come, but it must be more than, let's say, about 15 years ago. And I think he was also as a child very spiritual, but then when he did get the call to do that, bring up a world governance and make the changing for the whole financial system, he did say he was shocked. Yeah, same as we are sometimes, and same as I was when 1994, the call did come so strong to me. Yeah, and then we did share that, and that was very good also for the other people to listen and to see that we are. Everybody of us represents of God, of the will of God, but we are all also human beings. Yeah, and everyone has his fears or has his part to do. Yeah, and then Mr. Sino did say in the beginning he really thought, how can I do that? Yeah, but then he did go on and on and on, and it was that much important then to see that the things, as let's say God did tell him, just did happen. There stepped up people to him from the Western world. Yeah, Paula was one of them. She was the first one to sign a contract between the Indonesian and the American, and then all the delegation. So you see, it's really that had this being together with Mr. Sino and all the delegates had so many levels. And what then also happened on that first day, because we were there then, let's say, for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and they did offer us a meal, and I did bring some little presents with me, and I did say, oh, but I have to open my luggage, so they did bring the luggage into the house, and then the women did say, here is the room from the wife of Mr. Sino, and you are invited to take a rest here. And then we say, oh, thank you, but we were shy, Ulrike and I. Then they did show us the bathroom and the shower so that we can make a little bit fresh, and then we did eat together and all of that. And then we were thinking, so, but now we have to go to the hotel, yes? And then Mr. Sino did say, no, I do not like that you go to the hotel. I would like to invite you to stay here in my house. Bomb. This really was for Ulrike and me, bomb. And we did not know if we can say yes to that invite. In the first moment, we really were shy and did not know if we can do that. Yes, And but then it did come like that, and 1 day later or 2 days later, we really did recognize that it is necessary. Yeah, because Mr. Sino did really expect very deep working together. We were doing, let's say, every day 2 or 3 dimensions. We did work in very, very high spiritual level to bring the money flow through. And I already did from here and with sharing the emails, but you can imagine this being together and with all delegates, our energy became very, very, very strong. Yeah, and we had then the feeling, Ulrike and I, that we have to visit some historical places to open up old energy fields. Yeah. The first I did feel was we should go to the harbor, because there is something, water is always female energy, yeah, and something is blocked there. And the Indonesian people have been very much cut off from the Western world. And the government in Indonesia is very corrupt, same as in other countries, yeah. And they do not respect, or they did not respect Mr. Sino, and so it was very difficult. And I just did say to Aprianto, I have the feeling we should go to the harbor. And they say, yeah, just let's go to the harbor. And we jumped into the 2 cars, and did go to the harbor. But there was no harbor as you think there is one, yeah? All was, I nearly couldn't see the sea. It was all blocked up by ships, and most of the area you are not allowed to go in. Everywhere police, yes? So I had a very strange feeling. And we were just on one of the places. I did say, I must get contact with the sea. And then did some spiritual work there, and then we did go home. And then Mr. Sino did come and did say, who had the intuition to go to the water? I said, that was me. And he did say, oh yes, that was so much necessary. There will come tomorrow people from the Indonesian government, and I would like to introduce you to them so that they see that there is really an international delegation. Yeah, and they really did come.
Wow. Who were they? Who were they, Karin? Who were these people?
Yes, this has been a man. So he is what we would say a member of the parliament, yeah, of the Indonesian parliament, and he did come with his wife, supported by 2 or 3 other people. There was first time a talking between Mr. Sino and him, and Mr. Sino was explaining some parts, of course not all, but some parts of what is necessary to change the finance system, to bring the money to the people, and what he is wanting to do to build up the infrastructure for Indonesia. And they were really looking with very big eyes, yes. So I think what we did there was, and I think also when Annie did go there, or Norman, everybody of us who did go there now, does open up more or less energetical fields, yeah. And this is very important. I really did recognize, because first I did think, we go then all together, yes. But I think it was just necessary that some of us did follow the inner voice and go there before to prepare. Because maybe without opening all that fields, we couldn't go all together or something like that, yes.
Yes, and I think it's important now, as we grow closer to the time of all meeting Mr. Sino, that delegates start bringing back information of what it's really about, like what his life is like, and just the things that make him more real to us and to the outside world.
It. And that was for me also very important. Yes, to see all the people and also Mr. Sino in real, and to get in touch with him as a person, yeah, and then also to see you will see it when we have the big event. There is a changing sometimes, and because we had so much time, the opportunity, I'm so thankful for that to spend together with him. I really could recognize that very good. Sometimes he's just a person like you and me, and then he likes very much to joke. Yeah, we did laugh so much, and this is so fine with the Indonesian because they don't. There is no arrogance. There is no nothing. They are really so. Uh, very in their all their behavior, they are so origin, yeah, as people, not playing the rules, and we do because we are used to that, and our education we have been put into all that structure, yeah. So it's really also that culture, uh, incredible, yeah,
Wow.
really. And they take it simple. They laugh and have fun and eating together. Just take it. And we didn't have any time. Ulrike and I, we didn't know how late it is, what day it is. We just were there, very intensive living together with the people.
Wow.
And by this then turned out, but sometimes does the energy of Mr. Sino change, and then speaking directly Sukarno through him, yeah, and by that his voice is mostly changing, yeah. It gets another tone, strong and very clear and very yeah, like strength, and then it's coming through the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is coming through, it is a little bit hard to listen because then his voice is very, very, he doesn't speak loud, yeah? And he's going very into the silence and into the vibration. So there are three energies, energy fields you experience with him.
Interesting.
And what then also did turn out the next days was that we really did work, yeah, together. And we did make, for example, a ceremony by burning a piece of paper where we before did put on what we need or what we want to change and all of that. So this was really very, very intensive working. And then we had the impression that we should go to historical places. I have the photos, then also will send it to you, to the temple of King Solomon. This is about 25 kilometers outside of Cirebon. And this is a place where many religions do meet, many people do meet and do their prayer there. So this is really very deeply touching, yeah, because you have Hindu, you have Christian, you have Muslim, and they are sitting there in groups together, and everybody is doing his prayer. And this temple of Mr. Solomon, when I did go there, and Ulrike, we did feel it's closed, and we have to open up the treasure. Yeah, and then we did meditate there, all the group together, and then did go up. They say it is a hill, but for us it's not a hill, it's just some stairs upside this temple area. This was also but very good, and then did there meditate again, all the group, and did pray to God to open up, to be allowed to open up the treasury now. From King Solomon to give the payment to the people, to give the payment 111 to the people.
Wow. Okay.
And then we did go to a place, a very historical place. Oh no, just I don't have the name in my. It's some kilometers from where the temple is, and this was a very beautiful area, also on a hill. Here there was really a hill, and a very historical building where all the governors did meet, and now it is like a museum. Yeah, and this is the place where Sukarno did make the assignments on the contracts. Yeah, and this is a museum, and we did go from room to room, and they did explain everything, and there's such a beautiful garden all around. It has a completely other energy than in Cirebon. Cirebon is one house next the other, so many people, you do not have any free space. For us this is a little bit, yeah, it's all very, very people, building, street, cars, all full. And on that other place, there's free space. There you have nature, there you have that garden. And here we also did make a little ceremony to ask the soul of Sukarno, the soul of the queens and of the governors of Kennedy, of all of them who were preparing this payment to help us now, and that we want to fulfill this wish. And then when we were going home, Ulrike and I, and we did say, we feel our hair, it's so wet. It is for us, the climate is of course difficult. It is raining that much and so much hot. And you are sweating and your hair is on it's, you do it fine, and after some minutes it's just gone. So we did know that we really are a little bit not looking that nice. So we did say if we can go to a friseur to make our hair. And it was so funny, all the men and all the delegation were coming with us. We were so much laughing. Then we did say, oh, please, guys, go and take a coffee. When you're not happy that you stand around us and look how they are making our hair. Yeah. It was also funny. You see, there was so deep historical and serious work, and then all that kind of things. Yeah. And it was very special, and we did very well, because when we then did get back to the house of Mr. Sino, we immediately did see, oh my God, so many cars. What's going on here? Yeah. And Ulrike and I were really glad that we looking a little bit more serious, and then immediately did change our clothes, and we did see, okay, it's going now into an official meeting. And it was the day where first this man with his wife from the government did come, and we were introduced to them. And then in the other room there was waiting a delegation from bankers, yes, and also people of the Asian delegation. For example, the mother of Apri, she is holding, she is given the position from Mr. Sino to hold the human obligation. A very, very wise and nice woman. And then it was clear that there has to be done some assignments. But Mel Ve, I did say to Mr. Sino, I let it up to him to tell all that the delegation. Okay. Because I think it is important just now, before not all the money is through, to keep it a little bit silent.
Okay, no problem. So, what is your expectation for us in Cirebon? Did he tell you anything about the ceremony?
Yes, we were talking about that. And first of all, Mr. Sino did say he wants to give us the time we need. So as I did understand it, it's not that we are going there, let's say, he say, for a week or something like that, but we will be there, and as long time as we need to set up our team, as long it will take.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is also an information important for every one of us. And Aprianto was telling to me that they would have liked to let us fly before, just informal, so that we can get to know each other better. But I think this will not be possible with the time. This is too short. Then we would have two flights in very short time, one after the other. So I think this was what Mr. Sino really did want when the payment is through. And let's say if this would have happened in November or something like that, he would have invited us for informal meeting and then doing the ceremony on 11th of March. I think this was in his mind. Yeah, he really wanted to do it, but before the money is not really cash, it is not possible. And this is now the point. Everything is signed by all that people. You know, there are different positions. Yeah, Mr. Sino is the owner, and there are also involved Chinese people. I think Annie does know much more about that because to her is given a financial part, and also some Japanese and so. But Mr. Sino is the leader of all of that, and as I do see it and understand it, everything is now signed and prepared. Is by UPS, yeah, and now Mr. Sino does say they just have to give cash, yeah, and he did make the structure where this is then going to OMD. They are doing the cards. This is all prepared. Also, they did tell us also our. Diplomatic passports, everything is prepared. It's just to roll it out, yeah. And when all the assignment was, well, I would like to tell you something here before I go on, because this was also very, very touching. This was really, we did show up some photos of it, and then Mr. Sino suddenly did get up and came back with a big, very beautiful cassette, and he did open it, and he did show us the royal insignia, yeah. And these are two keys, or the keris. Keys is the Malayish word. Keris in Indonesian. Yeah. This is like a dolch. I don't know. Do you understand?
Like that? A dagger.
Yeah, for fighting.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
But very, very beautiful. Yeah, yes. So very, very, very beautiful. And one of them, we did see on the first photo of Mr. Sino, where I did think it is a snake, but this was not a snake. This was a keris. Yeah, he does hold it, and he did give us into our hand, and Mel Ve, wow, also really this energy, yeah. This was that much powerful. Yeah.
Wow.
So this was, there have been, I don't know, maybe 10 people or something like that, or 12 in that room, and we were allowed to touch that, everybody, and everybody was deeply impressed, yeah. And he did explain a lot to it, and also from Queen, he did say this is what you did give when you were the Queen, a diamond, and this diamond is also holding the energy. Yeah. So it was very, very deep touching to see all the royal insignia, yeah, and to get in contact with that. And by that he did say this now does open up everything, and he then did give to the UBS all that contracts that have been signed, but then say we must again be patient, because never in that world there has been such a huge financial transaction as this payment of 111. And everybody who gets in contact and involved with it just cannot breathe, yeah? And so we have to, as I did understand it and also feel it, it is for that board of directors of OBS and for the people in the World Bank and also the people by AMT and all that connected people, and this is a big crew, yeah. I think it is such a high responsibility to take, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and therefore I think when Mr. Sino, our delegation, does give such an important part in that to be a world governance, I really would like to say every delegate, please think on that high responsibility we have. We are representing that. And every word in a low energy that is going out makes trouble to that people who are now in the responsibility to let this payment go through. So they have also to trust in us because they know if there is something going wrong, it will be war. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we have to hold the peace. And we really are in a very, very, very high responsibility. And I did feel that very, very strong. And I had then the feeling I would like to go to the sea again, and we were going to another place, but only a little group, not this big delegation. That was very important for me to settle down because I really had such a high level of energy. And when Mr. Sino, for example, then by the assignment did take my hand, that was such a high energy. And then I did pray and did say, God, I know that as a human being, I'm too little. Yeah, how can I do that? I'm just a normal woman. Okay, I have some good knowledge in spirituality, but I do not have so much knowledge in many other things. And but it did come from Mr. Sino and also from God and from the archangels. Don't worry, you are just a servant. You are representative, and you have to listen. You do not need to know all of that. You just have to listen to your soul and go by your heart, and we will lead you. And so I didn't say for me, okay, it is so big, I think nobody can do it just as a human, and I know that I'm a good channel for spirituality, and I will be in that service and just do what I can. And what I say here, this is for everybody. I think everybody in this governance is very, very important. It does not matter what title or what level is given. This is just to bring up some structure. Yeah? But the importance is everybody is in that service and in this high responsibility. And this I really did feel very, very strong, and therefore I really would like to say, all delegates, please take your time, listen into your heart, listen into your soul, and become very strong inside of you and very settled in your own energy, because there will come up lots of pushings to us. Because not at all people and these governors, when they are invited in June, will be willing to accept what we do.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a big task ahead of us then.
I think so.
Okay. So what's the next step, Karin?
Yes, the next step now is So the next step is to get really the financial flow through, yeah. And as Mr. Sino did say, it's all under his control, and it's all under the control of God, and it's all protected, and it's all also arranged with the military. And when Mr. Sino does give the last order, yeah, for the payment, then they must let it through in between 70 hours, yeah? The UBS and the Banken Consortium. And he does say he can only do it when in the time when God does say now is the time. Because when we again have to be patient, because when this is done too early, then with this order, if they do not do it in between 70 hours, there has to be consequences, yeah? Consequences by the military to arrest the bankers, yeah? And I think this is a very, we should all hold the energy and give a lot of peace in it and give out very good vibrations, so that this is not necessary. Because you never know when the military is stepping up, if they are really that respectful as we want them to be with the people who then they do arrest, and this could be a big cry and this could be a dangerous moment. Yes, so we will do all to avoid that and to let that bankers the time to prove everything, to be sure that everything is correct, and then to let the money go through.
Yeah, okay. So, in terms of the delegates, what advice do you have for us?
Mr. Sino did say all is on that money, and when the flow of the money is through, then we can make much better communication again. I did ask him, I did say, Mr. Sino, in the delegation, they are really very good people, and as I feel it, everyone wants to give his best. But all of that troubles that have come is because we have problems with the communication. There are different languages, there are different translations, the one has this knowledge, the other has that, and there is not a clear structure. And Mr. Sino and I did say the Asians have it much more comfortable. They can come to you, they can ask you, they see you, they get the spiritual teachings of you. The delegations of Africa, America, and Australia are missing so much the contact with you. And Mr. Sino did say he does know that, and I said, couldn't we do again a Zoom meeting? This would be so good to the people. And he did say yes, but after this payment is through. So he really doesn't want before.
Okay.
This is, and then I think we have to prepare for our meeting in Serapon. There we will really work together, and then the positions are in the end given, because it is up to now like that Mr. Sino did point out, for example, positions from some people, but he say it's all under selection. It can change, yeah, it can change, because he wants to see how do the people handle that, what do they do when they get a position, so it will be fixed then in Serapon, also with the military titles and all of that. And then after Serapon, and also in Serapon, we will start to prepare for the big event in Mali in June. This will start on the 6th of June, and there from all the countries, 128 I think it is, the governors are invited, and they have to sign the payment 111, and they have to accept our world governance. So there we really must show up as a very good team, yeah, and must be prepared to that. And if they do not, we can call the military, because it is the money of the people and they have to be protected. And what I do now is prepare behind, on the spiritual level, doing ceremonies and things like that, to give good vibrations to the governors of other country. And I have very much in my opinion that maybe some diplomatic contacts could be done, yeah, I was also speaking about this to Mr. Sino, but we will see. This is also all on a level of ideas, and nothing is for sure at the moment. But it will be some also from Amt and so prepared, so that it is not then going out like a shock. And also Mr. Sino wants, I think it will be then between the meeting in Sirapon in 11th of March and the meeting in June, we should do a lot of media work.
Yes, I
so
agree.
The people must know that the money is there. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent, Karin. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think I really did give you everybody a very deep update, as good as I could do it. And you see there are several levels, the spiritual, also the practic, and everything. And yeah, I say my deepest greetings and namaste to everyone in the delegation, and I'm looking forward for the next steps.
Excellent.
We will be a strong team.
Excellent. I can't wait. And I'm looking so forward to working with you, Karin. Thank you very much for the report back from Indonesia, and I'll see you very soon.
We will do. And I send you now some photos, and I thank you very much, Mel Ve, for this interview, for this opportunity you did give me. And I think we are on a good way working together.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Lots of love. Take care.
Yes, love.
Bye.
Ciao.